Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I thought I will create an episode with a general update. It's been a while. It's just, we've just had Easter holidays. I've been away. So there was a little bit of a gap in my recordings. And I came back with fresh ideas and fresh approach to things. And I thought I'm just going to ask you, my listener, for some advice and help as to how to best direct the content I create here at Audio Unicorn moving forward. So when I initially started in September, that's right, 7 months ago, September, with my very first video, it was amazingly scary on so many different levels. I had zero experience in turning up in front of the camera. It's very easy to sit down and record to the microphone. I also release this as a podcast now. When I started, it was just a video. Obviously, it's coming out as a podcast, so you are likely also listening. I could be listening as a podcast. So I always found being in front of the microphone much easier than being in front of the camera. So turning up here and having to record a video obviously was a little bit of a challenge. But anyway, when I started 7 months ago, the whole idea behind this was to get on a journey and start experimenting with audio on the levels that I personally haven't experimented. Even though I've been running an audio production company, since 2010 now, 2010, I think. End of 2010. 2011. 2011. So anyway, 8 past years. Over the years, I've accumulated a ton of knowledge about audio production, audio in general, voiceover, business, jingles, radio imaging, podcasting, and everything in between. But I have personally not actually done audio production. So the whole idea behind Audio Unicorn was to start doing audio production and just seeing where that journey takes me. So it's good to have now 7 months behind me. I cannot believe how fast this went. Can you? 7 months ago, it just seems like yesterday to me. So 7 months have passed. I have done a ton of work. So I started off by making jingles, producing, just basic intros, outros, DJ drops, and things like that. I had a ton of fun with that, but I personally found that that's not really where my heart is, as in, yes, I can do it and it's great, but for me personally, it just doesn't bring me that much joy and excitement like I can see it does to Mike. And he's amazing at it. So I've dipped into podcast production then too. And I have taken on, so essentially Mike coached me along the way, and I have taken on actual real life clients and started producing a podcast because that was the best way to gain experience and variety of different issues that podcasters could face. And I wanted to be at the forefront of that. I wanted to understand what's happening in there. And through that process, I have delved deeply into podcasting world, much deeper than I ever thought I could. In fact, so much so that you probably can see that a lot of the content that I create is very much podcast related. It's because it really excites me. It is very easy for me to sit here and talk about podcast related issues. And even I create a lot of content for Music Radio Creative in general. And I found myself finding it like, oh yeah, okay, I will do this. And it's like, I will do that. And all of it is podcast related. And I just naturally landed in there, which is fab. I'm happy with that. I never had, when I started, I didn't have like a preconception to say, this has to happen like that. I'm going to be this or that. It's like, no, I was just open to see what's going to happen. So this happened, and I continue to hugely enjoy discussing topics relevant to podcasting. It's such a new industry. I just feel like that's an industry where I could have something to say. I felt like, for example, with radio, even though we work with so many radio clients, I just feel that the radio industry has been around for such a long time. It has a lot of really established voices. There are a lot of established ways, and there is a lot of kind of science behind doing radio in general. And it's not like that with podcasting. I just feel like because it's so new and fresh compared to radio, which has been around, since like the 20s and 30s, that's like over 100 years of radio history in the making, whereas podcasting is really, really young. It was born when I was already here. So not as sort of old with set ways as radio is. So I felt like this was something that I could make an impact and really, have a say and help people in some way. So this is where I am at the moment with Audio Unicorn. Majority of the work that is actually audio related relates to podcasting right now, and that's entirely through my own choice. Yes, I could go and do other things, but this is entirely my choice. So I want to be very, very transparent with you. That's where I think Audio Unicorn has naturally headed into. And then on top of all of that, as I become a little bit more customized to looking at the camera and talking to the camera, I'm thinking that I would like to also dive in and expand Audio Unicorn to a little bit less comfortable topics that touch on things like ethics and, like just the general kind of world problems and opinions on kind of, like entrepreneurship, growth, like personal development. I would like to touch more on that too. And here is where my question to you is that something you would be interested in as well? I feel like there are things that I could talk about. And I just want to know whether you as my subscriber would like to know more about that. So your opinion matters hugely to me. If you could please leave a comment either on the podcast episode you are listening to, or on YouTube, or you could reach me on Twitter. Just tweet me. I'm at Isabella Russell. It's IZABELA RUSSELL. So you can reach me on Twitter, on YouTube, on any social media network. I'm everywhere at Isabella Russell. I would love to know your opinion. It's very difficult because when you start something without a grand vision and plan, just like I did, because I started it thinking, okay, this is my journey. I'm going to record kind of where I go through on a daily basis. I'm just going to include things that just happened here at Music Radio Creative and just see where this takes me. I did not have a preconceived plan to say, okay, this is going to be a podcast and video channel about this. So I essentially want to expand a little bit the areas I cover, going a little bit outside of audio and delving into some other things that interest me too. I definitely think that I am going to cover more podcast related topics. So if you support me again, let me know. And the other thing that has been hugely on my mind, and this is after attending Social Media Marketing World, as you know, I've been there. And one of the major takeaways I had is that, everyone kept saying, well, listen, when you create videos, nobody wants to look at a talking head. And I'm like, geez, this is what I am on my Audio Unicorn channel. I am the talking head. So how the heck am I going to increase the production values to make videos far more engaging, far more watchable and relatable in some way? I just have no idea. So this is at the moment on my mind. I'm thinking on how am I going to increase the production values? What are the things I could include here that would make the YouTube channel specifically more watchable? Obviously, if you are listening on a podcast, it kind of doesn't matter what I do with my hands and face and what happens on the screen. But it usually does when you watch a video. It's like, nobody wants to watch a talking head, right? So this is my dilemma right now. And I've returned from holidays. I had wonderful holidays in fabulous Rio de Janeiro, and I feel refreshed. I really definitely needed that time. I think everyone needs time where you just sort of disconnect from the daily routine. I definitely needed that time. And I feel like I'm coming back now with fresh ideas, with fresh energy, really, to start creating some more content. And with all of this, obviously there is a huge question as to why am I doing this, and it's funny. That one is really funny, and I wish I had this one amazing answer I could give to say I'm doing this because of that. It's like, I'm doing this because I'm having fun. I guess that's the best way I can put that across to you. I'm having fun, and I really want you to have fun with me. And I would love to hear your feedback. So if you are my regular watcher and listener, please let me know by reaching me on Twitter at Isabella Russell. I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Bye. I mean, seriously, I've just rewatched the video. I have so many grey hair. I mean, can you see this? Yeah, sorry. This is just totally off topic.